Eleanor Vance arrived at Blackwood Manor not by choice, but by inheritance. A place, perched on a desolate moor where the wind carried the moans of the land itself, was less a home and more a town braving cold air. Generations of Vances had faded within its stone walls, and Eleanor, seeking escape from a life that felt just as confining, hoped to find solace, or at least oblivion, in its decay. The manor was a labyrinth of dust and shadows, forgotten rooms opening onto empty staircases, portraits with eyes that seemed to follow your passage. It was in a small, bricked-up chamber behind a sagging tapestry that she found it not a treasure chest, but something far older, far stranger. An antique mirror, large and heavy, leaned against the damp stone. Its frame was not wood or metal, but a dark, polished material like obsidian, etched with symbols that writhed and intertwined like tortured vines. The glass itself was cloudy, a murky pool that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. A strange compulsion seized her. Running a finger over the cold, alien frame, a thought, fleeting and insignificant, drifted into her mind. She wished the perpetual draft in the hall would cease. She wasn't even looking in the glass, merely lost in the oppressive silence of the room. Yet, as she stepped back into the corridor, the whistling wind was gone. An unnerving stillness hung in the air, outward with a prickle of impossible hope. Driven by a desperate need for something, anything, to change her bleak existence, she returned to the hidden room, standing before the hungry glass. Hesitantly, she voiced a deeper desire for a small sum of money, enough to mend the leaking roof, to buy some comfort. She watched her own reflection, and anxious in the dim light. Nothing happened. Disappointment flared and faded. She turned to leave. A sharp rap echoed through the silent manor. At the front door stood a deliveryman with a small, unexpected package. Inside, wrapped in plain paper, was a stack of old, crisp banknotes. Exactly the sum she had wished for. Terror and exhilaration clashed within her. The mirror, it heard. It granted. Her heart hammered against her ribs. The possibilities, glittering and deadly, unfolded before her mind's eye. A grander life. Escape from the crushing weight of the manor, of her own failures. Her wishes grew bolder. A life free from what? Companionship, a love that would fill the emptiness. Each wish whispered into the glass brought a twist of fulfillment. The money appeared, yes, but through bizarre, unnerving windfalls of a distant relative she'd never met dying in strange circumstances. Forgotten debts repaid by nervous strangers. The companionship arrived in the form of a cheerful, naive young man drawn inexplicably to the desolate manor, oblivious to its suffocating aura. His presence both a comfort and a constant, gnawing source of dread for Eleanor. He seemed too bright, too innocent for this place, like a lamb led to slaughter by her own desires. The mirror's power wasn't just granting, it was taking. For every gain, there was a subtle, terrifying shift in reality. The manor felt colder, the shadows deeper. Her reflection in the glass became less and less relevant, sometimes gaunt, sometimes distorted, its eyes white with silent horror. The symbols on the frame seemed to pulse faintly in the gloom. The man who came to her, his laughter sometimes had a hollow echo. His touch felt unnaturally cold against her skin. He was a pale imitation, a puppet strung on the mirror's threads. She tried to wish for things to go back to normal, to undo her previous wishes. But the mirror only twisted these desires further. Wishing for normalcy brought chillingly wrong normalcy. The man's cheer became manic, the manor's silence oppressive, her own thoughts a jumbled mess of fear and regret. She wished for the man to leave, to be safe, and he simply ceased to be there, no memory of his presence remaining in the altered reality. only a lingering chill and a gap where his warmth had been. The mirror did not undo. It merely replaced with something worse. Panic set in. She tried to destroy the mirror, raising a heavy poker she found by a long dead hearth. As she swung, her reflection in the glass moved first, a beat ahead of her, its eyes burning with malevolent light. The room seemed to tilt, the shadows elongating into grasping hands. The air thickened, cold and suffocating. A low hum emanated from the mirror, growing into a resonant vibration that shook the very stones of the manor. She dropped the poker, clutching her head as visions flooded her mind of fractured images of countless faces trapped within the glass, screaming silently, their features distorted, longing, terrified. They were the mirror's collection, its essence, and her reflection. It was joining them, fading into the murky depths, stretching into a grotesque mockery of her form. She felt herself being pulled, not physically, but soul deep, a terrifying suction originating from the glass. Her body stood frozen, but her consciousness, her very self, was being drawn into the swirling darkness within the mirror. She saw her reflection smile, a wide, cruel smile that was not her own, before she was consumed entirely. Blackwood Manor stands empty now, if one dares to call it empty. The wind still moans across the moor, and sometimes, they say, a faint whisper can be heard from the hidden chamber, a sigh of endless regret. And in the dusty, broken glass of the obsidian mirror, if you look long enough, you might catch a glimpse of something moving in the depths. Just one more face, forever yearning, forever trapped.